When we last left Kahlan and Cara, they had just begun an interrogation of an assassin, sent by Emperor Jagang to kill Richard. How did he get into the palace? How did he plan to follow through with his plan? And why exactly does he think they'll give him his weapons back? Find out today on this episode of the Sword of Truth podcast.
Welcome to the Sword of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with a book friend recommended
Ooh!
craft brew on the side. I know, I'm excited about that. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this episode, we're keeping our eyes on Chapter 2 of Temple of the Winds. And I remembered my part that I had to say there. So,
Yeah,
yay!
you did.
It's a great day.
We got this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd Chapter 2 go? Wasn't it just right here?
Yeah.
I was trying to make a joke. Obviously, it didn't land. Because you said we're going to keep our eye on it.
Oh,
and I was trying to be
lost,
funny.
And it was lost.
See what happens when I try to be
Wow.
funny? It's not good. You know what? You know what? To all of you, I'm sorry.
I just haven't drank enough beer to have my brain work yet.
Well, we have this badass beer, like I said, that a book friend recommended to us. Super excited to talk about that because this person was bang on about this beer. Whew, okay.
Bang.
Bang. I said bang.
Ah.
Today's episode is brought to you by our book friend, Amy. Amy reached out to us because this chapter meant a lot to her and wanted to share with the rest of us what she thought about it. So stick around to the end to hear that, and we'll kind of talk about what she said here and there. But mainly, I just want to read it to you guys. It's very insightful, very thoughtful, and I think it was fucking great. So, Amy, you kick ass.
Yeah, it'll be one of the first of our new hopeful little thing that we do. Nuggets of Truth or something. We're still working on the title, you know,
Yeah,
where we talk at the end.
Working title.
Yeah, where we share your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, no, we did. We've reached out. We said, hey, if you guys want something or have something to say, if you guys want something, take all of my stuff. Then reach out to us and let us know. And that's exactly what she did. And when I read this message, I thought it would be maybe like a paragraph or two. And like I said, we'll get into it later. But no, guys, this is like a whole ass thought out thing. And it's actually pretty great. So I can't wait to get to that. I can't wait to get to the beer. We got a fucking monster of an episode today. I am, yes. Like it. All right. Well, what do you say we kick off this chapter, my love?
Yeah. Let's do it.
This chapter opens with Kahlan and Cara questioning the stranger.
Ooh.
Asking questions like, how did you get in here? How did you plan to kill Lord Rawl? And the dude has attitude. He says he just, walked in.
Security sucks, apparently.
Right. The guards are dumb. And he was planning on killing him with a sword. That's why he needs it back, you see.
Ah.
Yes. When asked what he'll do if they don't give him his stuff back, he's like, whatever. There's other ways to kill him, I guess.
And this gets, brushed over super quick, by the way, in the chapter.
Yeah.
None of them are like, how?
Yeah, what otherwise? Please keep talking.
Are you talking about strangling, or... Okay, all right, moving on.
Now, he keeps talking. He says the whole point of this, basically, is to mercy kill Richard.
Aw, that's so nice of him.
Right, so he doesn't have to suffer at Jagang's hands.
Okay, yeah.
Because Jagang is basically a man of peace.
I see that. I can see that, yeah.
He has to invade, enslave, and slaughter millions upon millions of people, because otherwise, anybody else could do it, and that would just be chaos. We don't want chaos, we want peace.
Yeah, all that, tit squeezing and the forcible blowjobs under the table, all that was definitely peaceful.
Yeah.
I remember that about
For the
him.
good of mankind, for sure.
Yeah.
He tells Kahlan that he has to kill her too, sadly.
Aw.
It'll be a waste, because she's hot, It's not good to just kill a hot lady when she obviously has other uses.
Duh, yeah.
Yeah. But, again, it's for her own good, so she doesn't suffer.
Which, again, is something that you could assume, he's trying to kill your husband. So it's not surprising that he was trying to kill you,
Yeah.
too. So, again, maybe not the best choice to have you be the person alone in the room with him.
No. Now, he doesn't know specifics about how bad it'll be. I just said specifics. Really weird.
It was fun.
That's okay. But he knows that it's not going to be pleasant. Cara says that he must be dreaming. And he comes back with, wait. This is so badass. Where are my glasses? Okay. My cool sunglasses that make me look like the Matrix guy.
Oh.
What if I'm your worst nightmare? Yeah!
Yeah.
Zing!
Yeah. That was great.
Like, he was dying for somebody to set him up for that, right?
Oh, well, him and Jagang probably sat and wrote out a couple of pretty good one-liners about dreams and nightmares and stuff, you know? They had to have.
Jagang was like, oh. You know what would be really cool? If you walked in there and said this badass thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If they bring up dreams, you should say this thing.
And then just because of the cadence of the conversation so far, it doesn't really quite land in the same way he wanted it to.
He's like, shit. Set me up again.
That was going to be so cool. You guys just ruined it. You really suck. And he also asks what Cara is supposed to be dressed up as. Some kind of scarecrow or something like that.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand.
Yeah, he doesn't know what she is.
Yeah, because he's from the old.
So you got Cara, who's Cara.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this guy. So there is a badass face-off where they're just kind of like glaring each other down. Cara doesn't like beat his ass right away, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But she's probably weighing what they don't know. We already talked about that. And as Kahlan's watching this guy, suddenly he's standing up. Although she doesn't really see him stand up.
Creep.
He just, yeah, he's just kind of up. And he glances at a light and it goes out.
Yep.
I'll bet Jade's like, saw all of this coming.
Just as I suspected.
Seeing that this man controls the gift, Kahlan commits to using her power on him. Her power! The power that gives her the ability to keep Richard safe. The power she only feels proud of when she uses it to do so. And now all she has to do is just touch this guy to eliminate the threat. Something we talked about again in the last episode.
I just hated that it took so long for her to realize that he had the gift too. Like he made comments about not needing his fucking weapons and shit.
Yeah.
It took her that long to be like, oh, he has the gift. This is trouble.
Well, you know, to be fair, they didn't ask him, like we said.
No, they didn't.
What other ways?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a missed opportunity there.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So a few things happen here in rapid succession. Kahlan calls dibs. Number one, literally says, he's mine.
No element of surprise there.
Yeah. You know, I hadn't thought about that. Obviously, something's coming.
Yeah.
And just as the man's eyes slide over to the last light, Cara slips in between them and backhands him. Smack! This is kind of confusing because Mord Sith are supposed to be afraid of magic. But here, Cara is out and out provoking someone with the gift.
But to be fair, it's confusing for Kahlan in this moment, but we, as the reader, shouldn't be confused. I don't think, right? We all know how Mord Sith work, so we
do. I don't think it's very clear to Kahlan at this point what exactly Kara's motivation is. Obviously, soft spoiler, she's gonna figure it out. But yeah, this is contradictory to them being afraid of magic.
It is, but I think maybe, okay, so last chapter we talked a little bit about how they weren't doing a whole lot of that, hey, rundown of where we are and what situations have happened in the past. And I think a lot of this chapter is more of that.
It's just kind of interspersed throughout
it.
Yeah,
I think this might have been for like a new reader who doesn't know what a Mord Sith does.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's afraid of magic. Why would
just
she
to
go
visit
after
that again?
it? Oh, because she's provoking him to like blah, 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 blah. But yeah, we know. We know.
So then she asks what his name is. Like, fucking finally, right? But instead of telling her, he said, I don't have time for court buffoons. Dude, stop with the burns. It's not. That's like lukewarm. It's not good.
No, well, I think he just doesn't realize that either one of them has power, so he thinks that they're both like
peons.
Yeah.
You're just here to question the great and powerful. I'm not going to tell you my name.
Plus, you're women, so let's be real.
Yeah, well, we all know women are totally incapable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke. JK.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, he doesn't have time for court buffoons. He glances at the last light, and then they are plunged into darkness.
Ooh.
Kahlan lunges for the man, but she misses, and in the dark, catches Cara's arm instead, pulling her power back an instant before confessing her. Close fucking call.
Mm-hmm.
That would not have been good.
No, probably not. Not great.
Men are pounding. Oh, actually, you know what? Quick pause. It's interesting to me that Richard, right, loves Kahlan so much that Kahlan's power can't affect him. And although I don't really think this is true, it would be kind of cool and super convenient for all of our characters if Cara was so dedicated to keeping Richard and Kahlan fucking safe that Cara couldn't actually be confessed.
That's interesting.
No basis for it, but I just thought, man, that would be kind of cool if like Kahlan's circle of people just didn't have to worry about it because they were her fucking circle, you know?
Yeah, like if there wasn't anything written into law or rules,
Yeah.
that it has to be one person. And honestly, maybe not at this point in the series, like they've just met not too long ago.
Yeah, it's still a little new.
But if everybody's alive in later books,
Like eventually.
I could see a bond forming enough to where that would be like honestly that would make more sense than not.
And it doesn't necessarily say that you have to be fucking a confessor to not be controlled by her power. You just have to be that dedicated to her her power really wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't change it.
That's the key. Again, there's no basis for that at all. I don't know if it comes up later. I thought that was a really interesting thought, and I thought it was cool. Back to the chapter. Men are pounding at the door, trying to break it down, but it will not budge.
With their hard pike.
Madness ensues. Kahlan trips on her dress and falls. Seriously? Get that shit hemmed. Like the first thing that happens, she's like, oh, bad shit's happening. Ooh, and she hits the floor. I mean, look, I know she has a confessor's dress. She's probably doing some shit she's not supposed to be doing in the dress anyways. But if it's really that short, man, just I'm not talking all the way to the floor, just an inch shy, and you won't have to trip on it. I don't know why this is so frustrating to me.
Yeah,
but
no, I don't.
To be fair, if she was crouched, it would be much easier for her to do that, even if it was short.
You get caught up in it.
So,
yeah,
okay, I take it back. I'm an asshole, and I'm sorry.
She was lunging.
She was lunging, that's right. Okay, Cara and the stranger grapple, trade blows, and throw chairs, while Kahlan tries to desperately find the door handle, feeling around in the dark.
This is actually kind of funny.
When she finds it, a shock of pain and sparks throw her away from the door, and we learn that it's shielded.
Oh, no!
Jade is just like, surprise. See? Shit's going wrong. Your fault. Oh, well.
Well, they're in the...
I'm not bashing you. I totally agree with you.
They should have left a long time ago. They should have left and went Richard and got the person. Yeah.
Oh, apparently, Puck agrees. Hi, Puck.
Hi.
Don't rub up against the microphone, because that's going to
will.
be super loud. Oh, he will.
He's going to come over to Mom.
Okay. So these sparks allow them to see in the dark. So it's actually kind of useful that this happened. Kahlan can see. She looks over at Cara. She sees Cara realize that she can see, and she uses this opportunity to throw a book at this man's face, which I love so much. It's got to be a big book being in there too, right?
Yeah,
I hope it's a big book. Like The Stand from Stephen King big, you know?
If we have resorted to throwing books and chairs, shit's not okay, though, right?
Honestly, who throws a book?
You know what would be helpful in that room right now? A sword.
Anything other than a book?
A knife.
We already
light?
threw the chair, so that's already done.
Like,
you could break off your chair leg and stab a guy. That's probably what I would be going for right now. If I knew the door was locked. I mean, granted, both Cara and Kahlan both have different ways to, like, handle this guy, but if you didn't have that, yeah, stabbing him would be the way to go.
But, yeah, but the light's out, and he's a fucking wizard. And so a lot of your ways of handling him aren't exactly easy to, like, it's not going to work. Like,
Yeah, that's true. If he didn't have power, you'd be pretty fucked.
yeah, he would, but he does. And so it's messy.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely not going the way that they had planned.
No, obviously not.
So, desperate to end the threat that is Cara, sparks emit from the stranger's fingers. Same ones as the shield, by the way. As he yells, "You die first! You'll taste my power! Ha ha ha!"
Fucking weirdo.
Ew. Just gross. Almost as if karma was kicking him in the dick for what he said, he crumples to the floor in pain. Chef's kiss. Kahlan tries the door again and finds out that now it's open. Fuck yeah. The soldiers come pouring in. I heard your sigh and I know what it's for. The soldiers come pouring in, but she tells them to stay. I just want to put this mic right up to my... She tells them to stay out since this man has magic. Has them toss her a lamp and then closes the door again. What in the actual fuck, Jade?
I don't know, because here's my thing, is that, you know what the book even goes on to say right there, is that she does this because the guy has magic. They are the steel against the steel. They are not there to fight the magic. You know who's there to fight the magic? Lord Rawl!
Yeah,
is
Richard,
the magic
who's not here.
against the magic. And you don't think you should go get him then? Excuse me?
This is an independent inquiry. We're not going to actually let the authorities know we're doing this right now. There will be neither steel against steel or magic against magic here. It's just these two. They want to handle it alone.
What would it hurt to have a couple extra swords at the dude's back? He can't kill all you. You know the old, like, he can't grab all of us at once saying?
That's right.
Yeah. It's better to have more people in there.
Prison
you don't
break
know what
theory.
the fuck this guy can do.
Right.
She also, at some point in here, makes a comment about how, like, Richard does a whole bunch of shit people don't expect. Lots of shit has happened people don't expect from people that we work with in this book. So why would you expect this guy is normal? I don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm very frustrated. And she shuts the door. Also, the dude locked you guys in there. He used his magic to lock you in there.
Yeah.
In the dark room. So you're going to kick them out? What if he locks you in there again and just, like, bashes your faces into the ground? How about now?
Well, that is a good question. But it's actually answered right now. See, now the man is laying on the floor, vomiting blood.
Which is great. Love that for him.
What happens? Yeah, love that for him. Good for him. You know? And Cara leans down and says that was a big mistake. You should never use your magic on a Mord Sith. Mord Sith can turn your power back on you. So he's like, what's a Mord Sith? And she says, your worst nightmare. Call back, burn. Ha ha.
Ah.
It's so good. He's like, damn. You said that way cooler than me.
It's
Stop
like a
hurting me.
nightmare and a wet dream all in one. I'm sorry.
A nightmare wet dream.
Yeah, have you ever seen the Mord Sith? Like, it's, yeah.
That's a t-shirt too. Or a sticker. Nightmare wet dream. No, that's a t-shirt.
It's a wet nightmare.
Wet nightmare.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, I do. All right. Well, you know what else I like,
I like
Jane?
that. Yeah. I'm your what? I'm your I'm not your worst nightmare. I'm your wet nightmare.
It's fucking great.
What do you like, Nate?
I enjoy beer very, very much.
I like beer.
And it looks like it's about that time to get into the beer break.
Wow, that happened fast.
Yeah, it is going by very fast. I like this chapter. I like everything that's happening right now, especially, you guys, especially. Look, you know I love you, right? You know I won't lie to you. And that I will tell you guys if I think something is honestly good for you or something that you should try. Hopefully, we've established some sort of repertoire to where when I say, hey, this beer's pretty good, probably going to be pretty good. Unless you disagree with the style choice, which I totally get.
Yeah, unless you have a different taste than we do.
But y'all, this one's a fucking winner. I want to say, even if you don't like stouts, this one's a winner. All right. So we are drinking Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout, brewed with natural flavors from Mast Landing Brewing Company. This bad boy is clocking in at 5.5%, and it is delicious.
Oh, I guess I should have known it was only 5.5% because I'm not as drunk as I kind of expected myself to be right now.
Yeah, it's not super strong. Notice I am repeating myself just a little bit, so it's there. It's there.
That's also due to the other beer we had.
So I want to read this email that we got from book friend Haley. She says, "Hi, I'm super new to your podcast. Love Terry Goodkind. I'm on chapter 13, Wizard's First Rule. Hey, fucking awesome. I love you guys so much." Oh, that's awesome too.
We love you too.
So glad I found this podcast through a recommendation on Facebook official Terry Goodkind and Sort of Truth Book Club. Fuck yeah, thanks guys.
Like that.
Totally true, Jade. So long a name.
Yeah. It's really, really, really long.
Anyways, I hope to become a patron pretty soon, but in the meantime, I know you guys like sticking to your local Michigan brews. True, but we're open for everything. I think we've almost tried everything in Michigan, so. But my husband and I are also a Sort of Truth fan. Thanks to me. He's a lot like you, Nate, reformed book reader. Fuck yeah, friend. It's the way to go. I love reading. You want to sing the song? We have time. No?
No, I don't remember the words.
Jade was about to sing the Reading Rainbow song. Okay, so anyway, we went on a stout journey in the beginning of 2021, and we have landed on an amazing one. Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout by Mast Landing. Well, we've tried it, Haley, and this shit is delicious.
Can I hear more about what a stout journey is? Can you tell us that?
Yes, I am infinitely curious as well as to what a stout journey is and how I can take one.
Yeah.
So please let us know, because I'm down.
Even if we have to make it up, I'll
We'll do it.
Yeah.
She says, I hope you guys can find it and have a chance to try it. It's so good. Agreed. Until then, I'll keep listening. Can't wait to try some of the brews you've mentioned. Keep it up, guys. Haley from Rochester, New York. Well, thank you, Haley. Thank you for this recommendation. I went out today just for this episode to make sure that we were able to try it because I found a place that had it nearby.
She's a New Yorker.
She is a New Yorker.
Is that an accent? Did I do one?
Oh, wait. Do it again.
New Yorker?
New Yorker?
Yeah.
I think you got it.
Woo! See? I did it.
She's like, not that part of New York, but whatever.
Hell, I can't do anything else. Never mind.
It's okay. You know what? We got one.
Yeah.
We're good with one.
All right. Yeah, we went to the store, and he kept telling me what the name was, and I definitely looked at this beer while he was talking about it, but I was so distracted by all of the other brightly colored beer that I just kept looking at other stuff. I was like,
shiny.
Yep, we gotta find that. Yeah, totally. And I'm just like, what else do I want? What else am I gonna make him buy?
We just go in, I turn Jade loose, and I look at the list. I was like, okay, this is what we need. You get what we want.
And he crouches down right next to me at the beer I was just looking at. He's
2
like,
inches away.
It's right here. And I was like, oh yeah, I definitely looked at that. But look at these. But it tastes delicious, and I'm glad we grabbed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Rec. We love it. We can't wait to share this to everybody else so they can get their hands on it too. Definitely look for this one, guys. Well worth it.
And post it up on Untapped.
That's right, we will. I'm definitely gonna have another one of these, like for damn sure.
Yeah.
And we'll be back right after this.
Yeah.
And we are back.
That was a lot of confidence that you just did, starting it right there when you did.
Jade was literally in the middle of a song. I wanted to maybe catch you just on the end of it, but I wasn't fast enough.
Oh, okay. So that was your goal, because I was like, wow,
maybe a little bit.
You started that pretty confidently that I was done, because I wasn't sure I was done myself.
So Kahlan realizes that this is probably what happened to Richard, as Cara uses the Aegil to crack a rib and then make the guy stand up. She imagines this man as Richard, as Cara hits him in the face, kicks him in the sternum, and drives her Aegil into his gut.
Mm-hmm.
His ribs again, and then his dick.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
All to find out that his name is Marlin.
Awesome. Love it.
Now, I might be a fan of overkill sometimes, especially in the movies, but yikes.
Bro wasn't answering.
Look, here's the thing. Kahlan finally calls for her to stop because we don't torture people. And Cara's like, I haven't even started yet. And I kind of picture like Pulp Fiction, where it's like, hey, you hear me, hillbilly boy? I ain't done with you by a damn sight.
Love it.
All badass and stuff. But like, she's like, look, I haven't even started torturing this guy yet.
I'm just showing him a taste.
To us, it seems like it's kind of been a lot.
I don't.
And she got Marlin. That's all.
See, I get in like the grand scream.
It might be if a Mord Sith is involved. The grand scream of things.
That I know, like reality, this type of torture not great. That's a lot already, realistically. But this dude came in to do a certain thing, and he just tried to attack them both in the dark and fuck them both up pretty good. And he would have killed both of them, and he would continue to kill Richard at this point.
True.
And we've seen a lot worse from a Mord Sith, so it's really not that bad. I'm not really that upset about it. And the only reason that Kahlan gets butthurt is because she's getting all like, oh, Richard went through this
because she's thinking about Richard, right?
And okay, first of all, you weren't even there. This is not your PTSD to be stepping into. I get, okay, you love somebody who went through it, but this dude no, you need to take a back seat emotionally right now and shut the fuck up, Kahlan.
Get her.
And just let some shit happen.
So also, Cara, no, please go ahead.
Also, the magic was totally not contained till Cara took a handle on it.
Oh, I was going to say that earlier. I might have skipped over it. The reason that it's okay for them to shut the door again is because Cara has control of this guy's magic, as we know. So, like, that part of it was okay. I'd still agree that the guard should be in there. But that's why it was okay that she shut the door, because they're not going to get locked in there again.
Yeah.
His magic is contained.
And there is a certain method to how a Mord Sith goes about handling a guy when she has his magic in her hands.
Yeah.
And, like, getting him to understand the bounds and rules of everything.
Right.
Which, we'll get into here in a second.
That's next chapter, but yeah.
Okay. But I guess my point is, Kahlan doesn't have a right to be sticking her fucking nose in right now and telling her to, like, stop. Like, right now, Cara has a handle on it, and you didn't. And you need to let her have that handle on it.
But, Kahlan is still in charge.
I don't give a fuck.
I know. But, okay, we're going to get into this. Cara wants to know if Kahlan would still want her to stop had he killed Richard. And Kahlan's like, yeah, I would have. And at first I was like, no, you're bullshit. But then she continues to say, so I could do it myself. And then some.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the crux of the situation. Cara believes that intent equals guilt. This guy wanted to hurt Richard, so fuck this guy, let's kill him. But Kahlan doesn't believe intent equals the deed. Yes, he wanted to, but he didn't. Whether or not he, really intended to, obviously, I'm sorry, I'm like double talking. My point is that he didn't get a chance to.
I know.
So let's use the advantage that we have now by having him captured and alive.
Yes, and I know that that's actually like a big point in a lot of the series. Like,
yeah,
that's part of how the magic works with Richard's sword too, right? Like the magic determines the deed, not the intent.
Right.
Personally, I don't know that I agree. Like, dude was gonna kill him. Like, just because he didn't stop because he stopped himself. Like, I get saying intent is different than deed if somebody stopped before they committed the deed, but if they were stopped by an outside force,
that's true.
Then fuck you. You were gonna do it, and you deserve the consequences.
And hey, maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here, but he didn't. He didn't. Look, whether or not that means he's guilty, it doesn't really matter. Like, the guy obviously wanted to hurt Richard, so he's a bad guy, and he's going to get what's coming to him. And he should. I'm not saying let the guy go, and neither is she.
And I understand doing the thing is worse than
We're
having
about to have the same argument that they're having.
I understand that, but fuck him.
And to her point, she's like, look, are you intending to disobey Kahlan's orders? Because right now, Kahlan is in charge. Even if Carla had the Carla, wow, that's the
Ew.
second time I
Ew.
fucked up her name. Even if Cara did have a handle on the situation, Kahlan is in charge and she wanted it handled her way. And the answer is no. She didn't intend to disobey orders, but she needed him to attack her so that she could steal his power. Her intent was to keep Richard safe, and she was successful. And here's the thing. Both of them are right.
And to keep Kahlan safe. Also, here's the thing. Well, yeah, okay. But I guess that's my thing, is that Kahlan in this moment is like, I wanted him. I told you he was mine. Bitch, it was dark, and we were resorting to throwing books and chairs. There is no fucking way that your way was gonna work at that point. It was, once the light came into the room, you brought a torch. Your big plan was to open the door, grab a torch, so he could see you coming.
Right.
And once he saw you coming, he's a fucking wizard. Okay. So what's he gonna do? Let you come touch him?
Well,
No.
I just think the point was that, Cara got her control of the situation, but then started like jamming with Yajil, cracking ribs, and Kahlan didn't want that to happen. She had him.
Okay.
She got in control of him. She doesn't want him tortured.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just saying her way didn't work.
All that aside, Kahlan's like, wait, you can use magic, dude? Cara explains that it's not exactly the same way that Richard can use it. Their minds are actually linked, her and Marlin. And so all she has to do is want to hurt him, and she can. And then demonstrates as much. When Marlin cries in agraphy. What the fuck am I saying? Agony. Like pain.
I like agraphy.
Agraphy.
But
I don't
see,
even know what that is.
It's also, like, if he thinks about doing pain to her, he automatically gets hurt, too. It's
Yeah.
a very interesting, like, magic, mode, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say that, like, the construct of how that magic works is just kind of crazy to me. Like, they capture the magic and then they're in their brain. Like, that was
It
very
also has to do with
thing.
intent, too. Kind of, right?
Yeah,
If
it does.
It's actually very ironic.
Yeah.
Because Mordsith are afraid of magic that's not aimed at them, but are totally comfortable with magic that's intended to kill them because of how their gift works.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's a lot to do with intent because they punish for intent all the time.
Yeah, well, that's true too. So Kahlan asks if Cara knew Denna. She did. Everybody knew Denna. She asks if she's as good as Denna, and she's like, haha, no one as good as Denna. Dude, she could do this thing. Oh my god. It was so insane. You wouldn't believe it.
She was a bad bitch.
Oh, my bad. Remembering what happened to Richard.
This
and
is
like,
sensitive for you.
It
huh?
is, yeah. Okay, yeah, you might not want to hear about that.
It was really cool to watch, though.
It was, but it was in the past. We were just doing what we were told. Nazis. Obviously, we would die for him now, which is true.
Yeah.
They are not Nazis. I apologize.
We definitely didn't drink and talk about how awesome it was
Yeah.
when it was happening.
Besides that, Richard forgave Denna. Kahlan gets that, but she's not reached that point yet. She has not forgiven her, and Cara understands that. And look, this may be ill-timed comment right here, but what I don't understand is why the fuck they're having this conversation right now.
No.
I get, okay, the one answer to this that I've come up with is because they need to figure out what the right course of action is to take with Marlin here before they actually start heading down that path. I get that. They have to decide this first, but there's a lot of stuff here where it's very meaningful, but like, later, guys.
This is 100% for the reader who hasn't read.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's why it feels ill-timed, because it was shoehorned in here. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird. They just, they have this dude just sitting in the room with them that they just made a prisoner, and they're just like, hey, you want to talk about some girl talk right now real quick? You want to talk about Richard's ex?
I like picturing this guy chiming up from the corner. Actually, if you guys learn to trust each other, shut the fuck up, Marlin. Yeah. We did not ask you. So now there is a long, cold look between Kahlan and Cara. This is kind of intense. Kahlan says, I hope you know that I'd never forgive you for doing the same thing either, and reminds her that a confessor's touch is the worst kind of death there is for a Mord Sith. And Cara says, look, I've been told that, so it's a good fucking thing were on the same side.
Mm.
Finally, they agree about something. They both love Richard. And in their own way, he loves them too, right? Cara does add that specifically. He doesn't love me the same way as he loves you, but like, hey, I'm in too. I'm in the circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that we really talk about Marlon just sitting in the back while they keep having this like lovey-dovey talk, I just want him to be like, "Hey guys, can we get back to the interrogation? Because this is a lot. I don't want to listen to it."
Look, can we just do the torture like she was talking about? This is really, really driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Cara adds, maybe Richard is the only one who really gets it, which is another point why he should be here. You can't truly love somebody until you've forgiven them for their worst crimes against you. Richard forgave Denna, and that's all she needed to be content. Maybe that's all you really need to heal your heart and heal your soul. And like, wow.
Yeah.
That's very deep coming from a Mord Sith. And fuck, man. Loved it.
Yeah, it's very emotional and true and, I don't know, difficult.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It also is like her being like, okay, well, you don't have to really forgive Denna. Denna didn't really give a shit if you forgave her. She like thought it would be cool, but really she just needed something from Richard. So it's a very interesting like concept that they're all dealing with, the forgiveness. And also Kahlan's wearing Denna's Aegil around her neck. So it was kind of a weird thing too, because I felt like she had kind of forgiven Denna a little bit. Like she accepted that they had that Richard had forgiven. Yeah, I guess she did say that. She accepted that Richard forgave her, but she didn't. I don't know. It's weird.
Cara asks Kahlan if she's forgiven her for being a Mord Sith. Because, look, had Darkenrahl commanded it, she would have done the same thing to Richard. And Kahlan says that doesn't matter. She had proven herself to them as a worthy guardian, a protector, and a friend. In the same way that Lord Rahl gives the Aegil to his protectors, Richard had given Kahlan Denna's Aegil, marking her as his protector. And in this way, they are sisters of the Aegil. Fuck yeah.
And yeah, okay, so I guess this is why the two of them have taken it upon themselves to be the ones in this room without Richard, because they're his protectors. And I suppose I can see that a little bit. Richard's supposed to be like the hero of the book. Like, he's the badass fighter dude.
Right.
With the sword. So it's weird that the women, like, I guess it's women empowerment in a way. Like, they're the ones trying to protect the man. But they're not doing it in a great way, and that makes me mad. I feel like if they had killed it, like knocked it out of the park, I'd be a lot happier.
Yeah.
I mean, right now he's taken care of, I suppose. He's sitting here having to listen to them do this, so
it's just not very satisfactory.
But yeah. I would be much more happy had they come in there maybe with swords of their own and just pointed at his head and been like, "Bitch, talk."
So with a new tactic now, that was wrong. So with a new tactic now, Kahlan asks the questions and Cara provides just enough pressure to get him to talk. Perfect. Marlon says 2 weeks ago he got orders to kill Richard and Kahlan, which tracks because it's been about 2 weeks since the Palace of the Prophets was destroyed, and they're hoping Jagang along with it. Then says that's all the info he's got. Kahlan says unless he starts talking, she's going to take a long walk and leave him with Cara, crazy as she is. She can break you. I can destroy you. She's like, then I'm going to come back and try my way. It was fucking awesome.
It was awesome, but there was a little part of me that was like, you guys just had this very, like, meaningful friendship talk, and now you're sitting here being like, this bitch crazy.
Kind of talking shit about Cara, right?
Yeah. Like, I feel like you could have use a different word. Like, ruthless, scary, dangerous, but crazy? I feel like, okay, Kahlan, I see you.
He says he really doesn't know anything. Jagang comes to him in his dreams and tells him what to do, and he knows the cost of failure. Jagang told him to find a uniform and weapons and kill them both, and that he uses wizards and sorceresses to do his bidding. Kahlan sees that in a way, he's kind of reverted back to the attitude of a young boy. Something is missing here, and it's very unnerving for Kahlan. You know, this guy seems to flip back and forth between being a real hard ass and like throwing lame burns, and then going back to, well, like I said, an attitude of a young boy, cowering in the corner. He's afraid, doesn't like what's going on. And it's weird. It's jarring because it's two distinct attitudes that he has at different times.
Yeah. Something's definitely off with him. And I mean, she's right to be on her guard. Something's been weird since the beginning. And she needs help, I feel like.
She needs help. I think this guy has multiple personality disorder.
Well, yeah, he needs help. She needs help to figure out how to deal with him. Do they have a palace psychiatrist? I don't know if they do.
I kind of doubt it. So Kahlan waves her hands around in the air, trying to make sense of this all. I can see you doing this. Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't get it. You do this weekly. It's hilarious.
Thanks.
Firstly, this dude makes her skin crawl. Second, Jagang had to have known that he would have been caught, right? Like, the way he came in, announcing himself and everything, he had to. Jagang's not dumb. They know Jagang's not dumb.
Yeah, no, that was obviously the plan. Because the kid isn't he's unabashedly just being like, yeah, I was going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's weird.
But without any new information from Marlon, Kahlan decides that it's finally time to get Richard involved.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
good call. And then suddenly, a thought occurs to her. She asks Marlon if he was supposed to announce himself the way he did when he arrived, and he confirms. Then she grabs Cara's arms and says, look, maybe we shouldn't tell Richard? Motherfucker! We have to get this guy in a safe room now. She thinks they might have made a big mistake, like duh. But even so, she thinks they may be in a lot of trouble. And that, my book friends, is the end of the chapter.
I don't even know. I don't remember what she thinks is going. Like, I could see it being like, oh, it's a distraction, which is what she already thought in the beginning. That this might be a distraction, which is why she put Nadine in the other room. Right? But, okay. So don't let Richard go question him right away. Go tell Richard that this is happening and that it might be a trap for him to go down. Let him, help you assess the cards on the table.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if it's supposed to be a distraction and you don't tell him, there still might be something coming at him or happening in a different room or something that he's going to be unaware of. He's not going to know it's connected to what the fuck you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Why would not telling him be more beneficial than telling him? Like, I just don't understand what the knowledge of the situation could do to hurt him other than him making impulsive decisions. But then you're there to talk to him about that.
I think just because then he's going to get involved, he's going to have to come closer to this guy, probably he's going to want to question him, and then he's in a room with the guy alone. Not necessarily alone, doesn't have to be alone, but still. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole thing doesn't sit good. But she was so close, you guys, to being like, yeah, let's get Richard in. This is above our pay grade. We need the Lord for this. And then last second she goes, maybe not. What the fuck?
Don't like.
So close.
Don't like.
Well, you guys should definitely let us know what you think about this chapter. But for right now, we are going to get on to what Amy thought about this chapter. So we are going to take a little break here, get a sip, and we will be right back with that. All right, and we are back. Well, I think I'm just going to get right into reading this. Amy says, okay, so my thoughts on Chapter 2 ended up a lot longer than I thought. I hope you can still use it in the episode, of course, but it made me major editing for length. No chance, Amy. I want this whole thing. Let's go. Anyways, let's flash back to Book 2. When Kahlan is talking to Denna's spirit, most people had no reason to feel anything other than hatred and fear towards the Mord Sith. And Kahlan knew well what Denna had done to Richard. She had flat out said that she couldn't forgive Denna, but, well, she had been willing to hear her out, to, quote-unquote, trust her, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
And cooperate with her to save Richard. It's good enough for her, her love. This is us talking. This isn't her, sorry. willing to work with her to keep Richard safe. Get
Yeah.
that. I don't remember if Denna ever learned that putting the Radahan on Richard was unnecessary. I think her guilt, if she did, might be even worse than the guilt she already felt.
I would agree with that, probably.
I think so too.
I mean, it's weird because Spirit's knowledge is kind of like they kind of know everything that we know, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe she didn't know then, but she for sure knows now.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Kahlan had even talked to Denna about her own guilt at the way some people she'd used her power on were innocent. She also felt bad about Nass. Though, frankly, I can't blame her for going overboard and destroying Darken Walls. I can't talk today. Loathsome accomplice. And totally agree there, too. Yep.
Yeah.
Overboard is totally fine on a guy like that.
Yeah.
So, she already knew what it was like to be perceived as a monster. And that what she did when she confessed someone, taking power over them, forcing their devotion to her, destroying part of themselves, wasn't completely different to what the Mord Sith had done, despite the major difference that she tried not to use it to hurt innocents. So right there's a huge correlation between the Mord Sith and the Confessors and how they kind of have some stuff in common. Some heavy stuff.
Yeah. No, which is, I guess, why maybe from the reader's side, I feel more for the Mord Sith. Like, I get that wasn't great shit that they did, but I know what they had to go through to become those people.
That's true.
And that what would have happened to them if they didn't do those things. So I forgive them for doing it, I guess, internally myself without even thinking about that. So when Kahlan doesn't, I'm like,
Little weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe not weird, but like, yeah, not her
Not right.
experience is
Yeah.
different than our experience with these characters.
That's true. Even so, at the end of Book 3, when Kahlan first encountered the Cara squad, love that, I thought she'd see them as a threat to Richard, another group of potential Dennas who could hurt him again, and who he had allowed to get close to him. I thought she'd be trying to get rid of them, or even that she'd threaten to confess them if they went anywhere near Richard, but she didn't. And then, when Berdine tried trolling both Richard and Kahlan simply took it in stride and counter-trolled both Berdine and Reyna. They joked, and she just joked back. She definitely won that one without even trying.
Yeah, which was hilarious.
Loved that scene. I didn't think too much more about it just then. It seemed a bit hard to believe, but I was relieved the group weren't going to be fighting each other and that they were just going to get along instead of Richard having to choose between Kahlan and his friends.
That
Agree.
he'd been with much longer, kind
Right.
of, at that point than her.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. She says, I didn't read as much as I should into Kahlan wearing an Aegil around her neck, or think too much about Cara's protecting our sister's honor remark, though it seemed a bit odd.
I agreed.
Yeah. Plus, I'd been thinking a lot about the backstory to the bodyguard squad. I love the squads. I love it. The quad squad. That's a good one. I got one too. Fuck yeah. It did seem to make sense that Darkenwall would have both First File and Mord Sith bodyguards. The File could engage an attacker in combat, and with the attacker having to give their all against someone like Ulick, the Mord Sith could then easily tap them with an Aegil, and down they'd go. Plus, of course, they have magic stealing abilities the File didn't. Added, plus there.
Bonus.
I headcanoned that the Mord Sith we see acting as Richard's bodyguards, and who acted as Darkens before that, are the ones who held onto most of their sanity. The ones who had come to hate men couldn't be chosen as bodyguards because Cara's squad had to form good working relationships with the First File soldiers and fight side by side with them, having their back and maybe saving each other's lives in combat. They couldn't afford just to command a unit, treat the unit badly, and send them away like Denna did in Book 1, which is really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
They knew they had to work with these guys, and so they couldn't be so far gone in the first place to not be able to, play nice with some people.
Well, you also have to think that especially these Mord Sith in particular, came and decided to find Richard. Richard told everybody the Mord Sith were done. And these are the ones that chose to say,
Yeah.
no, we have free will now, and we're going to use it to still protect him and believe in his, like, they weren't crazy and, like, fuck men, fuck Dark and Raw, like, we are done with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, no, this new guy is a good thing, and we're gonna go do that. They obviously did have some of their minds in there, because they were able to reason and be like, this is a good thing.
The second they were free, they became capitalists. They're like, wait a minute, we have a skill not many people have, and we can totally get paid for this shit. A Lord Rawl, a moment of your time, please.
That's a little more cynical than what I was going for, but okay.
Yeah. She says maybe serving as bodyguards gave meaning to their lives that the other Mord Sith didn't have, and they wanted to continue in this role with the new Lord Rawl. I could imagine Berdine or Reyna hearing about Richard's past as a woodland guide and immediately thinking how much he could teach them about that terrain and its dangers. Good fucking point. About camouflage in wooded areas and stealthy movement. Taming chipmunks was just lesson 1. Oh, yeah! That's fucking funny. If you don't scare the chipmunk, you won't scare the mark. Deadly little ninja assassins.
Yeah.
That would fit in with why Hallie wanted to Hallie. I can't say it right now.
Know.
That would fit in with why Hallie. Why is that such a hard word? Yes, the dead one. Hallie. If I say it enough, it'll be right. Wood wanted to die as a Mord Sith, but Denna wanted to die as just Denna. Anyway, they had to form relationships strong enough that a group of 2 File soldiers and 4 Mord Sith, that was hard to say, could team up and head into Aidendrill, work together, and protect Richard, with absolutely no sign of either group mistreating or resenting the other.
Other than their arguments about who is better at protecting Richard.
Which seems to be pretty Mord Sith-sided, too.
Yeah.
In general, they're like, yeah, we just don't fuck with the Mord Sith. Maybe that's why it works so well, too.
Well, I think maybe a lot of it, too, is maybe in general, the File were his first line of defense most of the time.
First File.
Right. And I feel like maybe the Mord Sith were used in battle situation, maybe like what she's describing here.
Right.
But they maybe weren't sitting by his side every second of every day. So the First File are like, okay, we're going to be there. And these Mord Sith in particular have taken it upon themselves to be like, no, we are his bodyguards too. Like, we are also there with you, and we're just as good. So fuck you. Like, maybe there's part of that power play a little bit too.
Could be. It's more like one-upping the Lord Rawl instead of one-upping Richard at that point.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is the job we are meant to be doing, so we're going to do that one now. Though Cara didn't seem to get on so well with General Trimac, maybe the bonds formed in combat didn't apply to a senior officer who wasn't in that combat himself. She didn't trust him like she did Ulick and Egan. And then she says, by the way, if I've used the wrong terminology, e.g., if Denna would have been a platoon or a section of men instead of a unit, please correct my wording. Amy, who knows?
I don't know.
Sounded good to me.
I do want to say I like a lot of what she's saying. I think maybe you don't even have to like compare General because this particular group, Ulick, Egan, and these Mord Sith were at the People's Palace, and they had made a decision that they were coming after Lord Rawl.
Yeah.
And I feel like
they may have
worked together previously, but they had to form a bond. Like, they may have been able to work together, but yeah, I think that the trust that you're talking about maybe was formed when they were all like, no, this is what I want to do. Well, this is what I'm going to do.
For the new Lord Rawl, right? Fuck yeah. All right, let's go. Kind of, like Kahlan and Denna, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that applies. I think that's really good. Okay, so here we are presently. When Book 4 began, I still hadn't thought too much about the relationship between Kahlan and the Mord Sith, so I didn't initially get the significance of the opening. Here we go. The fact that we were arguing over how to best protect Richard. I didn't get it until they actually said it in Chapter 2. You are a worthy guardian to Lord Rawl. I am his protector, as are you. That wasn't just friendship. That wasn't them just working together. These chapters were showing the reader how deeply they trusted and respected each other. And when someone has been as deeply abused as Cara, they might never find it easy to trust like that again. Which is, wow, so true.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at the end of book 3 and Kahlan wearing the Aegil, as if she was saying, I know you expect everyone to fear and hate you, but I still think we can be friends and you can be good people. I'm willing to wear this thing that marks you out and could make people hate me too, just to reach out to you, which is a really beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, it is. And I hadn't thought about it like that at all.
No, that's when I read this the first time, it was like, seriously, every paragraph. Wow, that's a good point. Wow, that's a really good point. She nailed all of this. That's why I was so excited to read it. Okay. But Kahlan hadn't known that. To them, it was also making a bold claim. I'm worthy of wearing an Aegil. Cara confirms in this chapter she does think Kahlan is worthy. Goodness knows what the 3 Mord Sith would have done if they didn't think that.
I don't know. I think that would have been an interesting chapter because the Mord Sith might not let things happen that they don't like, but Richard also kind of does what he wants too. So I kind of feel like that would have been an interesting thing to see.
I've been looking through the books because I could have sworn there was a bit where Kahlan talked to Cara about her guilt over what she had done to those she confessed, like she did to Dennis Spirit. I can't find anything like it anywhere. She's certainly dwelling on it. Cara's emotionless expression was like a confessor's face. I mean, that was just perfect.
Yeah.
And she's ready to use her powers on Marlin right there, right then. And she still sees herself as kind of monstrous. Richard was the first to see her for herself and care about her despite her power. He didn't irrationally fear the unknown, fear what she was. Instead, he had come to know her and to love her, confessor's power and all. So it makes sense that she's got some understanding of someone else who's seen as a monster, and who Richard still came to know and sort of love for herself. So, they have all that shit in common.
Yeah, 100%.
But I really did think there was a scene where she talked to Cara about it. Maybe Cara had some idea that she'd be making that comparison. Maybe we're going to have to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cara does explain why she thinks Kahlan is worthy. She saw Kahlan fighting in the Blood of the Fold and learned a lot from what she observed. I don't think she ever expected in her lifetime to make a non-Mord Sith into a sister of the Aegil. I definitely don't think she expected ever to meet a woman who would consider it an honor and accept it. At the time, I had been wondering, did the Mord Sith as an organization have a future at all? They definitely weren't going to abduct or torture any more young children. That was for sure. Were they going to become the sort of elite special forces unit, selecting a few army recruits for training and handling an Aegil and stealing magic? Or were the current Mord Sith simply going to go to age and die, and let their order die with them? Sadly, Terry seems to have opted for the latter.
Unfortunately, we aren't privy to any other way for them to come about, because the only way for a Mord Sith to become a Mord Sith is to be trained with an Aegil,
right,
in the way that she will be using it. So, without torturing people with an Aegil and breaking them, there wasn't a good way to make more, to train more.
That's true. Well, they would just have to do it themselves.
Right. It just would have been, it would have been nice had Terry found a way for their magic to, for them to transfer magic to a new person to be able to use the Aegil without that. But yeah, I can see why he didn't, because that's not a great thing. If
they broke away from the Lord Rawl, then their Aegils wouldn't work anyways, if they were totally independent.
Right. No, and I'm not saying not work for the Lord Rawl. I'm just saying that the only way you can wield an Aegil is by being tortured with that Aegil.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, in order to make more, they would have had to torture with an Aegil a person that didn't deserve it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
accurate.
So yeah, it sucks, but it makes sense because there wasn't ever a clear vehicle to make more that wouldn't be a bad way to do it.
She continues, but I would have liked a scene with Cara, Berdine, and other Mord Sith characters sitting down to ask, is our order redeemable? And is there a way for there to be any Mord Sith without the suffering of innocent children? It never happened. But Declaring Kahlan as the sister of the Aegil seemed like the first step towards a future for the Mord Sith. In the end, really, it was the only step. The interrogation continued after this, but I got the point at last. These two monsters had understood what each other was in a way most people couldn't, and each had accepted the other for what they were. I'd go on to talk about Chapter 3 and how this is followed up in the last chapters, except I did say this was for Chapter 2, and I don't want to drop a bunch of spoilers in, so I'll just say that I did enjoy Chapter 3, and the difference in how Cara treated Kahlan versus how she treated the soldiers was really notable. And we will get to that. That is a good point. And Kahlan overcoming her fear of the pit and working with Cara to keep Marlin confined. Yes.
Soft spoil.
And I'm going to guiltily admit that for some of the Chapter 2, Chapter 3 material, it wasn't just horny Terry who felt a bit horny. Naughty. That's okay.
I have to say, I think maybe I don't know where you felt horny in this chapter, but I would love to know.
Maybe she's a masochist. She just likes seeing somebody beat the shit out of Marlin.
Yeah, a little BDSM action there.
I mean, whatever gets you there, you know? Yeah. I'm not here to judge. Nope. Sadly, I think I'm going to have to end by saying, now that we know so much more about the effects of abuse, including PTSD and CPTSD as a society than we did in the 90s, it's almost impossible now for me to believe that Cara, Berdine, and the others could have stayed so high-functioning. I think if I was reading the books for the first time now, I'd have expected them to be broken people like Constance in Book 1. As a teenager in the 1990s, yeah, us too, it's all good, I could marvel at how strong and amazing these women now were despite everything that had been done to them. But if I was a teenager in 2020, I probably wouldn't be able to suspend my disbelief and keep reading. I think that's all. This was really long, and I didn't expect to go on for so long. Please feel free to edit it down for length if you do use this in the show. Not a chance, Amy. That was awesome. Thank you so much for sending that in. I was so excited to read that to Jade. We had read it before, but it had been a long time. And everything you said there was amazing. Just the relationship between the Mord Sith and the Confessors, going through the first couple of books where they are aware of each other, but no, you really don't notice, or I didn't see most of the points you had pointed out. Just the way that they can respect each other because they both do kind of feel bad about what they've been doing, and they both love Richard.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's hard to go outside of the individual chapters that we're in when we're doing this. So it's really nice to get a nice long message like that, like showing us a little bit bigger picture, because sometimes we get tunnel vision.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Going through the chapters like we do, it really makes us focus on just one at a time. Sometimes we lack that 10,000-foot view, so I appreciate that. I thought that was great. And I would also encourage anybody else who wants to write in or say something like that to do so.
Absolutely. Please feel free to send us literally anything you have to say. You can get a hold of us on our email at podcastatt@gmail.com. You can find us on Patreon at podcastatt as well. Also, all of our social media. We love hearing from you guys and hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you real soon.
Bye. Fucked it up.
The notes disappeared. Hang on a second. Do 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 da 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 da
Like we're live.
da da da.
Can't edit this.
Da 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 da. You're just gonna take your time, so I have to keep singing. La 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 la. Do 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 do. I know this isn't in any key, and I apologize. Okay, here we go.